Welcome again to another RRVV show, Fan Cave, TR Fan Cave, that is, episode 4. We're excited about this show, as we are all the ones we've done so far. So if you missed the gratitude show, as a matter of fact, it was really good.
It was.
A lot of people were very open and honest. It was really nice to see.
Mm-hmm.
Learned a lot about people.
And I was right. You needed to have the tissues nearby.
Had to have the tissue. That's right. The show last night we had, hope you watched it. If you haven't, it's archived, the second of our 4-part series on the Utopia Winery behind the scenes. We got 2 more coming up. That'll be the next Friday and the next Friday. We also have added, Cruiser Mel, a second open mic due to popular demand.
Nice. Yes, that'll be fun.
December 12th, Saturday. So check that out. And subscribe to our channel on YouTube, and you'll be in the loop on what else going on. Or join us on our rundgrenradio.com page, join us page, so you'll get the newsletter and be in the loop. But that's what we got going on. What Todd's got going on, he just announced a virtual tour. We put a lot of information about that in our newsletter. It's been kind of confusing for a lot of people and different things, but I think the easiest thing to try to help out is to say every show is being filmed in Chicago. Once you got that, you can kind of start figuring out the rest. It's going to be a great show. It's a Nearly Human album. You've got the Global Girls and Michelle, Bobby Strickland, Elliot Lewis is joining the band, Gil. It's just loaded. It's going to be fantastic. Got a trombone player. I mean,
oh yeah, that's right.
And they're going to do some Todd and Utopia songs too. So
well, sounds like it could be kind of old school from the old Nearly Human tour, which was fantastic if you saw it. Yes. And if you didn't, then here's your chance.
Yeah, but with it being virtual, the technology, the backgrounds and things like that could be pretty wild. Who knows? Sure, it'll be fun. Looking forward to that. That'll be in February, March. If you can't find anything, you can email us, or I'm sure you've probably seen it by now, but hopefully you have. Also, Chasm is doing a few shows. He's got one in Sellersville, December 12th. We're doing our open mic early so that people can watch that. And Tuesday, December the 8th is his birthday, and he's doing a show virtual at Daryl's house, which is
birthday
a fun
show. Big birthday this year.
I wish I could go to that show so I could go back to that Heidi's hotel. That was fun when I went.
And go see the little dog. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a great place. So if you're not on the loop on that, go to Daryl's house. They do these a lot, these streams. They're good, and Chasm's done them there. It's free, but they are requesting donations. So they have different levels, start at $10. So it's up to you. You can watch it for free. You can donate. I'm sure they would very much appreciate it if you did. That's how they're keeping the place open. So check that out on Tuesday. Happy birthday to Chasm. And I think that's all we got, Cruiser Mel. Oh, we got the wine thing. We had second last night. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we got 2 more coming up on the following 2 Fridays. So that's our Utopia wine series, Utopia Vineyard wine series. 2, and we've done 2 out of 4, so we have 2 left. Mm-hmm. So I know what you were about to say, Cruiser Mel. Let's hear it.
I was going to say, seeing that we are coming into the holiday season, Todd Rundgren has decided to make a contribution to the Christmas holiday season regarding the death of a rabbit.
How's that? Okay.
Yeah, he's got a new song coming out, a single. It's called Floppy.
Flappy.
Okay, I think
that's what it says on YouTube. If you want to find it, it's spelled Flappie, right?
Right.
He sings floppy, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Just so if you want to find it, if you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. It's silly. It's a Dutch song, and he did his version of it. So
we'll put you in the spirit of something.
Of something. Some people have been like, "Oh, it's horrible." Like, I grew up when Fatal Attraction came out. This doesn't faze me.
Oh.
The bunny thing.
Yeah, I know.
It's got nothing on that movie. Anyway, enough of that. All right, I think we've covered everything. So this fan cave, though, tonight, I do want to say this, Chris, that it's different than the other ones we've done a little bit. So we're going to go to people's homes. We're going to see things. But you're probably not going to see anything super rare like we have with Mike Adrian's collection, that type of thing. And you're not going to see the spirit candle, but you are going to hear from people about their stories about why some of the merchandise that they own is important to them and the backstory behind it, which I think is a nice touch and a nice addition. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. We have 3 places we go, or 4 people, 3 different segments. So
Yeah, and some really, really nice little backstories that I think you're going to like. So what do you say? You want to just dive right on in?
let's get this party started.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, we got Bill and Jenny Weeks here from Cleveland, Ohio, a big Todd town, as we all know. And they're dealing with a snow blizzard, but they're still willing to give us a tour of the home and the TR fan cave.
Excellent. Hey, y'all.
Hello. Hey, Mel. Doug.
Hey, let's see what you got.
Yeah, show us.
All right, we're going to start on this wall, and most of our stuff is just a collection of going to concerts and memorabilia from Todd fans. In our collection, my first Todd concert in 1979 at the Cleveland Coliseum, $9.25 for a concert ticket. And that is actually when my collection started. This was our tent at Todd Stock. Our theme was caravan, and Connie helped with our tent, our campsite.
Which Todd Stock was that?
That was Virginia.
Virginia.
Oh, 2018. Okay.
Yeah. Right before we went to Australia.
That's right.
Totter, y'all were at Totteroo as well?
Yeah, we were.
Wow.
Yep.
That's big time.
Up here, we ambushed Todd after a concert at the Agora. He goes back to maybe I shouldn't say where he goes to, but anyways, Jesse was there. Chasm was there. I'm not sure who this guy is.
It's Randy the Roadie.
Randy.
It's Randy Brown. Randy the Roadie. Yeah.
Yeah, they all stopped in the bar and we were talking to them, but Todd went right to the back room. But we did catch him and get a picture of them.
There you go.
Cool. Why don't you show us that doll? The looks like an orchestra doll.
Carolyn Sedell.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
For the orchestra.
Oh, that's really cute.
That was a great show.
Mm-hmm.
That looks good. She did good on that one.
Yeah, she did. And my poster from the 80s that's been everywhere I've lived has been hung up.
I love that one. Yeah.
Utopia bumper sticker.
This picture we won at a Spirit of Harmony fundraiser in the raffle. And when Kaz was here doing his show, he said he'd never even seen that picture. So
who took it? Do you know?
I do not know.
That's funny.
Did Chasm sign it?
No, he signed our wall instead.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Down here is my first Todd autograph, and I wasn't there to get it. It was at a coffee break concert at the Cleveland Agora, and Connie and a bunch of friends, we were underage at the time, and because I looked so young, no one would let me come with them because then they always got hassled about their IDs. So she got me my first autograph. Name is name spelled right.
Yeah, I think this picture down here is from Little Rock. At the
the record deal.
The record signing and
cool.
I think this was at in Akron. I forget which show.
Yeah. I'll go back to that for a second. Go back to that picture for a second. The one of Michelle. Go down a little bit. That's Icon because of your shirt. 2011. Me stock. It's got to be.
Could be.
Yeah.
Utopia calendars.
Oh, that's cool.
Again,
I've never seen that big poster.
Poster, and
I bought the white album, played it once, and then I hung it on the wall.
Where'd that poster come from? The camouflage poster. I've seen the photo, but I don't think I've ever seen a poster.
I don't know, but again, it went with my other one from the 80s or early 90s.
You've had that a long time. I got
Yep.
you. Very nice.
And here is our poster from the
Australia.
Great Gearin Hotel in Australia when Todd played with Davy Lane.
Yeah, Mel, you were there, weren't you? That lovely establishment we stayed in and the hotel here.
Actually, I had already left to go to New Zealand at that point. But
you missed that. Oh, that was a.
I did.
We actually had a bathroom in our room.
Here,
Ooh,
Nice.
Fancy.
our laminate collection, and
Wow.
this is the famous leg. How Bill talked me into going out with him was bribing me with concert tickets. It was for with a Twist tour. We got to the Odeon, which is a standing room only, and they asked, would you be willing to go up on stage? And you know how they had the tiki bar set up. And they said that we were the best looking couple there. Would you be willing to pretend you are here celebrating your wedding anniversary when Todd goes on his break and get up and dance? So they gave us these leis to wear, and neither Bill or I danced, and they piped in Elvis Presley, which we both dislike Elvis Presley. So we were booed off the stage and everyone wanted Todd back, but people in the audience really thought we were married. And that's my first date.
I don't remember it that way. I thought we were getting applause. They were encouraging us to get up and dance because they told us we didn't have to dance if we didn't want to. But the crowd made us or told us to get up and.
So Bill Bricker's work, of course.
The Todd Healing tour.
Oh,
And his poster.
This poster I actually got from a friend at work. He knew I was a big Todd fan, and I guess he stumbled across it going through his cleaning out his house or something, and asked me if I wanted it. And I said sure. So I snatched that up from him.
That's kind of a weird lineup, but I get it. It's Nebworth.
And then our Chasm collection coming up, some Chas set lists where Chasm signed our wall when he came for Bill's 60th birthday.
What does it say? What did his autograph say?
I've signed thousands of walls over the years, but this one is the most special. Love, Chasm 2017, Bill's 60th.
Fantastic.
Then our autograph set lists.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Is that the words to
it's
the
not.
song?
It's for his new song. Yeah, we had the words to Chasm's new song.
Where is that?
This blue album we bought at Red Eye Records in Australia, and Todd signed it, and he couldn't believe that they actually had that record at the record store there.
Where do you
I can't see that. Our albums, we still have probably almost every album in vinyl, the original vinyl, not the remakes.
Yeah,
we might have duplicates of some of them because we both had a collection.
Yeah, we do. Some we have 3 of the Utopia magazines. Again, this was because of our first date at a With a Twist. This whole album is concert pictures from the With a Twist.
I love that story. First date, and then you have to act like you're married. That's fantastic.
Oh, I know. I'm waiting in line in the bathroom, and everyone's congratulations. When did you get married? And I'm like, this is my first date.
So,
okay, tell us about the ukulele. There's got to be a story on that.
That was when Greg Hawk was teaching us how to play the ukulele. we purchased one. And did you have one too?
No, I did not. We had them signed, and then
he autographed it while we were there at
Todd
Stock, Virginia.
Neat, yeah. Angry Birds. Is that a comic book? What is that?
It is. Again, when for what was that on state?
I think so.
Yes.
We won a raffle. We won Angry Birds coloring books and an Angry Bird at an event before the concert.
Yeah, I think it was at Ray's place.
Yeah, in Kent for the Kent stage.
Kent.
Oh, a little fan thing, huh?
Yeah.
Did you play those yellow gold looking records?
No,
I did not.
I
never just framed them, huh?
Yeah, I just bought them and framed them.
So do you have that in CD or download? Have you been able to hear it another way?
Yeah, I think we do. Almost everything again that we have in vinyl, we have on CDs too.
For Christmas, was it Christmas one year? Or was it your birthday?
It was Christmas.
I went out and purchased almost every Todd CD I could find for every album, and I gave them to Gene for
our first Christmas together.
Yeah, we don't have those out, but I got a whole.
So this is our fan cave that our children think that we're crazy.
And we probably are a little bit.
Yeah, that's what makes you a true Todd fan. I'm so glad you guys were able to come out tonight and show us around your place. We did get to see a little bit of it, I know.
On
well, yeah, that's right. Oh, you guys were having the party and everything.
Yep.
So, but we saw some neat stuff, so we wanted to revisit. And thank you so much for sharing with us today. And stay warm, okay?
All right, thanks.
All right, thanks very much.
Bye.
All right, today for Fan Cave, we've got James Barney from Cleveland. He's also a member of Toddcast, so you should check it out. It's a Todd podcast.
Toddcast Cleveland.
Toddcast Cleveland.
Toddcast
Welcome,
Cleveland.
James.
Oh, I'm
Is
so
that
happy.
.com?
That's right. You can find Toddcast Cleveland on YouTube, especially, and Spotify. Okay. Those are awesome. Our two mains. So a lot of the first of all, thank you for having me. Super excited. I was saying before, I don't get nervous about anything ever. This is the first time I've been nervous in a long time. So
no need to be nervous.
So, but I'm ready. And a lot of these, I watch a lot of your Fan Cave episodes. They're great. Really loving the way that the Rundgren Radio format is heading to. I think it's really refreshing. It's great, really exciting stuff. So I really am happy to be a part of that with you all today.
Excellent.
So a lot of my Todd things, and there's a lot of them, they come with a lot of stories. So I'm going to start from the very beginning. Okay.
All right.
And when I was born in 1993, there was an album called No World Order. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And my father bought a CD player. Okay. And he's like, oh, that Todd Rundgren fellow, I hear he's got one of those new CDs. I'll go check that out. Okay. So he goes in, he puts it in, and he goes, audio. And he's like, this is broken. The CD player, I'm going back to records. The CD player is broken, okay? He takes it back. The guy goes, no, man, this is the new album. This is what it sounds like. This is great. Yeah. So we started off with the CD, and much like many other, switching cameras here, much like many of us, we started listening on the CD-ROM classics. Now, this is my personal copy for our Windows 95 Packard Bell. All right? And this is what started it all. The real interactive, true experience. I hear a lot of older folks talk about, they got into Todd through A Wizard of True Star. It was nothing they had heard before. Well, this is my Wizard of True Star.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. And
makes sense.
And what's more interesting about that is that this is probably one of the first things I've ever heard. and it set the path. And so moving on from there, I also note that later I got this the actual Philips CDI disc.
You got a player for it?
No, but Zach does. So when COVID's done, we're definitely gonna. All right, so that moves on to this VHS here. Now, for a kid in the 90s, we didn't have iPads you just throw in front of your kid. All right, we just had the VHS player, right? And I remember as a small child, I had this tape, which is the Videosyncrasy, if you can't see that. And I watched it over and over and over again. We wear it out, okay? Mm-hmm. And I have this, and then I have another edition. And so that's what really started that and No World Orders were really started moving on to, my Todd obsession. My parents would take me to Media Play, or no matter where we went, whenever there was a CD section, and I would say, Todd, Todd, Todd. And I would go to the R section. Somehow I always knew where Todd was. And then I had to go find Todd. And it was just always how it was. We had to own Todd everything. And so that moving on to, this is another thing that I watched my entire life, but especially when I was growing up on repeat. In fact, I had never even heard the version of Secret Society on whatever it is, the one with Mated and all that. Drawing a blank here. But I had never even heard that until later on in my life, because I always knew it as the Todd Rundgren live version, Oh,
I see what you mean.
With the girls.
Yeah. And so when I was a kid, one of the women that my dad worked with, she gave me this Todd poster. Now, she was a fan of Todd herself, okay? Mm-hmm. And my dad went on, I think more recently, told me this story about how she told my dad, after she had given me this poster, that she washed Todd's feet or something like that. And I was like, I was like, what am I supposed to do with this information? But when I was later looking through, I think it was a Playgirl interview that he did, he talks about getting his feet washed by fans. And I was like, oh my gosh, incredible. But going back to my childhood and innocence, on the back of this poster, there's still a sticky note where the woman was so nice and lied to me and said this was from Todd himself. And it says, for you, Jamie, because I was Jamie when I was a kid. I'm James Barney now. Thank you. And from Todd. And when I was getting it framed, my friend said, do you want me to keep this sticky note? And even though I knew it was a lie, I told him that. And I go, yeah. So it's just part of my childhood. Now, moving on from this poster to another part of my childhood, I had my parents, we live in Cincinnati. I'm from Cincinnati originally. And we had this tape.
Are those cassettes? Wow.
Yeah.
We had this tape in our station wagon.
Cool.
And I remember in my bedroom, I had a closet. And some of my earliest memories are not of fearing the boogeyman, but it's of fearing this guy right here. And even during the Todd's Honest Truth, you were able to ask questions, Sure. One of my questions was, what is this guy? What is he doing on the front of this record? And why did he scare me so much when I was 3 years old? So that's always been something. We'll get back to those. But then moving on, going back to Cincinnati. This is my little Cincinnati happy memory thing. And if you'll zoom in here, this was my first show ever.
Bogarts. Todd hated that place.
Yeah, he sure did. But he did play there pretty often.
He did.
And I was on my dad's shoulders as this young man here. That's my dad back there. Looks just like me now, unfortunately. I was on his shoulders at this Todd show, okay? So Sunday, February 8th, 1998. And I remember he was doing the With a Twist. So he had the whole setup. Cruiser Mel, I don't know if you were there, if you remember those. But they had the whole...
I missed those. Doug saw one of those.
Really, yeah. And so he had the thing where he would come out and he would say, I'm playing until everybody leaves on the stage, and people probably paid like $300 to sit at those tables on the stage, and he would play songs until the last person dropped. And I do remember, even though I was so young, he busted out the acoustic guitar at some point and started playing Cliché. And that was, come on, I was like 5 years. I wasn't even 5 years old at this point. So I was on my dad's shoulders the entire night. Thank goodness to him, because I know his back suffered for that for probably the rest of his life. But some woman came up to my mother, because she ran to the bar, and said, "Is that your child up there on the tall guy's shoulder?" And she says, "Yes, that is." And she was like, "Todd would like to meet him after this show." A true story.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the entire night, as I remember, vaguely, of course, I was like 4 or 5. This is mostly through recollection on my mom and dad's part. The entire night, they had said, "Hey, James, you're young. I was probably in preschool, maybe. You got to go to school tomorrow." Okay, got to go to school. No matter what happens, got to go to school tomorrow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the woman comes up to me and my dad, and she says, "Young Jamie, would you like to meet Todd?" And my parents are kind of like nudging me to be like, yeah. So what do I do? Well, my parents had said the entire night, "You got to go to school." So what do I do? "I'm sorry, ma'am. I have to go to school tomorrow."
Don't.
And my parents didn't want to like intervene and go, "No, wait, Jamie, like this is the one time," because they're trying to set a standard. So
little did they know.
So that's the first time I ever tried to meet Todd. I'm sure there's like 2 more times after that. So that's the beginning. That's the story of me and my collection of Todd stuff. We're with those 3 or 4 things that I mentioned. So now we're going to get into the nitty gritty here.
Okay.
This is the good stuff. This is what you came here for. This is what the juicy is made for. All right. So I think about a month ago, I was at some flea market. It was like only music stuff. And I found this print, and we've all seen.
Oh yeah,
probably
I've never
thousands.
Seen that one.
Yeah,
I've
seen
never
thousands of Todd, and I had to like triple check. But there's a little bit of everything that kind of made this, other than the back of it says Todd Rundgren, that I was like, damn, yeah, that's Todd. I just never seen this picture before. So I'm gonna assume this is like 74. But yeah, I've seen thousands and thousands of Todd pictures, and I've never seen that one. So there's that. This was actually, I kept this. I don't usually keep a lot of pay stubs, but this was my favorite Todd show, I think, next to White Knight tour, the most recent Individualist tour. So I kept that. I don't really keep a lot of pay stubs. And most recent acquisitions, this is a
Yeah.
Songs Utopia. I'm sure y'all got a copy of that too. But yeah, anyway, recently Carol D'Amico posted on I can't remember, one of those Toddy's page, and was like, "Hey, if anybody wants this, you can take them."
Oh,
and I was like, "These are
that.
Going to a good home, please, Carol. I don't know you, you don't know me. I got the Toddcast Cleveland. These are gonna be on my shelf for the rest of my life." And here they are. But here's what I really wanted: was this one right? I think it's this one. This one right here. It's called Todd Rundgren Speaks: The Making of the Change Myself video. And it's basically Todd giving a speech about him creating the Change Myself video with the video toaster here demo.
That's probably pretty rare. I don't know if I've ever heard of that.
Yeah, it's interesting. It is digitized. It is on YouTube. You can watch the whole thing. But it's literally Todd talking to a bunch of nerds while he's out of his element, I would say, but also in his element, because that's his craft at the time, was video toaster. But it's really interesting to listen to Todd in that context.
I love that song too.
And that's also an incredible song. I mean, that moving on over here, I watched the hell out of this, good old desktop collection when I was younger, carrying on with that No World Order stuff. And then, we have these two here. I believe
there's that guy again.
And then there's that guy again.
I'm scared.
Whatever he is, I wish Todd would have been just like, "Oh, it was just a thing, man." And so moving on to my Utopia tapes, I think I only need 2 more of these to finish this collection. I think an evening with, and the Detroit one. I don't know what it's called.
Royal Oak, I think. Is that you have that
yeah,
one?
Royal Oak. Yeah, it's the
Oh,
only one.
okay.
I think there's only 2 that I need. And down here, everybody knows this. Everybody's seen it. My dad told me when I was really young, and my parents, they, whether it be putting a sticky note on the back of a Todd poster to say, you know, from Todd, make you happy. My dad told me that his name was on here, and I never believed him because it's really hard to find your name on here. Let's be honest. But my friend Chuck came up here one time. It's about a year ago, and I told him that. And Chuck's a weird guy. He's got like 30/20 vision. Okay, I'm not kidding you. He's one of those people where he could find the needle in the haystack way quicker than any of us could. So I told him that, and I came back 5 minutes later, and I don't know exactly where it was. I should have highlighted it, but I know it's right around here.
Right on.
There
And
you
I
go.
looked. I could be wrong. He could probably walk up and go, "No, you idiot, it's here." But that's how good of a memory that he has. So
Yeah.
I always find myself looking around this area because my dad said he found it once, but his name is Martin Barney, and it was showing up as Barney Martin. So that's what I told my friend Chuck, and then he was like, "It's here somewhere." I'm very smart. I know where things are. So that's a kind of a personal anecdote about that. He said that he did the whole thing with the filling out the postcard and was a part of it. So down here, and what spurred, and I think was a great part of the Rundgren Radio, I think it was the 3-day weekend thing, was when you had, I don't know, it was either that or it was the fan cave, but you had Carolyn Siddall, I believe her name is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she did the first fan cave that we did.
Yep. And she had mentioned, she's like, "Oh, I'm sending some of this stuff to these young chaps in Cleveland, and they're going to digitize it for us." And
That's right.
And this is it. It got sent to
Right.
me. God bless her. This has been an incredible thing, and it's been there's been a lot of proactivity, but
Proactivity.
the productivity on getting that done on top of school and everything. Because I mean, look at this. Look at this. Like this. I mean, this is in. There's some amazing things here, and it just goes on and on and on. And it's all hyper. It's great because it's all hyper specific to our hero. So there's no digging through
Gotcha.
the Bruce Springsteen fluff to get to the TR nugget.
Are you gonna? So you're gonna scan all these, right?
Yep, I
digitize
finished
them.
school in 2 weeks, and then I'm building out this website, and we're all going to host it here. And she's going to have full credit. But Zach and I are breaking this up into pieces. We have binders, and we kind of have a system right now that we're going to be able to break it into. But a lot of it, it's not just going to be scanning because there's a lot more clippings. So we're going to have to do something called cam scan. Super fancy. So that's what here. And I was like, man, I'm trying to find some of my favorite pieces. There's too many to show y'all. So just
that's a big job.
So that's a plug there. That's a plug. Moving over here, you might recognize this guitar or something similar. I don't know.
I recognize the color of the pliers.
Yeah. They got them from Lowe's, man. All right. So now this was a job. This was my quarantine project. I hope everybody has had a quarantine project. This has been mine, and this has been a wild time because I've went over my budget a couple times. So this is all cassettes, obviously, and you're starting. Listen. We wanted to include NAS, but like I said, hit my budget. So
maybe another time.
Yeah, maybe another time, and then also So it's all of them, and just got to get new cases for them. The shadow box is a little too small for them.
Go back to that Utopia there. You're go back a little bit. Go back.
Which Utopia? There's a few there.
There's a few, yeah.
The foursome there. I don't see there. I'm looking for POV because that's the one you were talking about.
Yeah, POV.
There it is. Okay, good deal. $2.
Yep. Now here's another incredible thing about this, and like I had mentioned, I've had this my entire life, and of course I've had No order. Because I also have a demo of that I'd love to show.
Do you have the Individualist on there?
That's the last one that was
there.
with
It
the
is.
cassette.
I love it. Yeah.
Now here's a really special one here.
Mm-hmm.
Up against it one that didn't come out until like '97, and I'm 102% sure that's a bootleg.
Oh yeah.
But it's cool because I actually really love that piece. But all right, so I had only had these two, and I went to Cincinnati for my birthday in June, and my birthday is the day after Todd's, the 23rd. His is on the 22nd. So I was in town. I was doing something. I think it was like kayaking, something safe, and my friend calls me. He's at Shake It Records, famous record store in Cincinnati. And he goes, "How's your Todd cassette collection going?" And I go, "Oh, well, it could do a little bit better. I don't have much." And he goes, "Okay, well, I just picked up like 12." So that's what got me started. And I started picking up a few more. Acquired this one through an estate sale, crazy. And then a gentleman, I had mentioned that project, and a gentleman named Jonathan Risen maybe.
Mojo Rising.
Mojo Rising.
Mojo Rising. Yeah, actually, that's funny. I just realized that he's the guy that's on YouTube. He posts Todd stuff as well.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, I learn something every day. And he goes, just out of the blue, he goes, "Which ones do you need to finish?"
Mm-hmm.
And he helped me out, and he sent me these. And he's from Cincinnati, and he had sent me, I think, this one in particular, and another live. And I had noticed the sticker, and I started piecing it together. I go, "Did you sell a bunch of tapes to everybody's records?" And he goes, "Yeah, duplicates." And I go, "Dude, by osmosis, I have all of your old tapes now.
Oh, that's crazy.
This is basically your collection now."
But isn't this fan community fantastic?
It was very interesting. It added a lot of character to the collection. So moving over here. I don't know if you recognize this. I don't know if y'all were there.
Oh, yeah, we were there.
Yeah. And then Doug gave Zach and I this when we crashed the birthday party, and we felt like Wayne and Garth walking around with the band and crew tag. It was great. And then lo and behold, these things are on my James Barney Rock and Roll Hall of Fame lanyard.
Oh, really?
But what do I have on my Rock and Roll Hall of Fame lanyard?
Yeah.
That's right. And then over here, you don't see this. I see this a little bit more on eBay than anywhere. This is one of my favorite posters that I own. It's obviously a New World Order promo poster.
Mm-hmm.
And very cool. And then recently I acquired this print from a artist in Florida. And it's a lot of fun. It says, "I don't want to work. I just want to bang on the drum all day."
D-drum. There we go.
And then when I was at that, what was it? The flea market that I acquired that print at, I saw this, or I remember I think I was getting ballsy, and I was just walking up to tables and going, "You got any Todd Rundgren stuff?" And if they don't, I scram. This guy, he was selling a bunch of gear, and then he had like a box of 8-tracks. And I go, "This is great, man. You got any Todd Rundgren?" And he goes, I think I do. So this might be what sets me off on my 8-track collection for my Shadowbox next.
Have you ever listened to an 8-track?
My dad has an 8-track player in our basement, and the only one that I liked of the things that he had that worked is that's how I got into David Bowie's Low. I was listening to like that on 8-track, and it had a lot of bass. I remember that, and that's why I really like that album too. But yeah, only at one point, and I completely doubt that was a decade ago. I completely doubt that thing even works. It's still down there though. But yeah, and then right over here, this is my favorite piece because this is one of my favorite albums next to Nearly Human and No World Order. Is Healing. Healing played a really big part. Excuse me. Of my life in my teenage years. I felt like a lot of what I was going through as an only child emotionally and spiritually was very, I think it was very encompassing in this album, even if he was 32 at that point. And I think it's interesting now, Nearly Human, as I'm getting older in my 20s, Nearly Human represents a lot of what I'm going through in my life. And I think that's also kind of interesting too, right? Like, this is just like, this could have been anybody, you know? Like, it could have been Pearl Jam, you know? But it happened to be Todd. But now I'm like growing into the music more so than like I'm living it. I'm living it more than just listening it anymore. It's very interesting. So yeah, and then okay, so this is I think this might be one of my final pieces here. I think I just got one more thing to show you. But yeah, I went to Trader's World in Cincinnati. And I was about 19. I was super broke, super broke when I was that age. And I went there and they had this poster and it was in this kind of state and still is in this kind of state. But this is one of my favorite pieces. I always thought this was one of a kind, but it's obviously not. But to me, because I've never seen it in the wild before or as often, I really like this one. So
it's great.
So I was able to get this poster for like $13 too, and that's another thing that's been great about collecting Todd stuff is that it's cheap, it's inexpensive. But then that moves us on to the next part of the collection, which is the shirts, because you got to support Todd, right?
You got some cotton goodies for us?
Yes, I do. Yeah. So this is my favorite shirt. This is my style. Todd, put out more of these shirts. So this is the Chival Rock shirt. You can get it on sale. Yes, that's right. I'm going to model it for you. You can get it on sale at the Todd store right now for like $8. It's crazy. Highly recommend it. And then moving back to camera here.
You got that at the Todd store for $8?
$8. They have it on sale right now, folks. You could get your own Chival Rock t-shirt and be just as cool as I am. I almost thought about getting 2. You should get 2 too. So, Cruiser Mel, I remember one time we were at the NAS shindig last year this time, and you were like, "Oh, I've never been to Cincinnati before, but I've been to Covington."
Oh no! Where did you get that shirt?
Wow! Yes, freeze your ass off.
This is my favorite Todd shirt. I cherish this. This shirt does not it gets washed. It doesn't get dried because I want this shirt to last my entire life. And
my God,
I was at this show. And my best friend, who I've been friends with for over a decade now, he was at the show too, but we weren't friends yet. This was just like months before we became friends. And later on, like I think like a year or two later, he's like, "Hey, I don't want this Todd shirt. Do you want any more?" And I was like, "Oh God, yes, please." So this is literally my first Todd shirt, and I'm a sucker.
I was at a few of those. Do you remember they had the really cool zip up hoodie of foamy, foamy color.
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah,
this thing right here. I took one of these to Todd Stock West. That shirt right there because I was like, I got to get rid of this thing. And Michelle grabbed it and loved it. I was like, really? What? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a performance artist and I wear ridiculous clothes, but I used to wear this. I played like a Christmas show, and I make original doom metal on Nintendo Game Boy. You know. Like I'm not out here to please people. I actually do a cover of Fair Warning if you're interested, angel64.com. So that was my first shirt, and then the second shirt I ever owned was I'm throwing shirts around here. Is this one? This one's a cool shirt.
I like that.
When I was a kid, when I moved to my house that I grew up in, this album had just come out. My parents bought a pool table. I played so much pool listening to Reconstructed.
You like that album?
I'm not going to comment on how I feel about it.
It's a great cover.
A lot of my Utopia introduction, because keep in mind, I was, when I went to the record store when I was 3, it was Todd, right? So I didn't even know much about Utopia at the time. But a lot of my introduction to Utopia music was through this album, and then indirectly with a twist as well. This is my favorite though. This is why we buy this album. So very cool. Matrix Todd. And then I wore this to the Rundgren Radio party because I love this shirt. I think it's cool as a musician, as a solo artist.
Another one from the Todd store.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And this is my personal favorite. I wore this at the Rundgren Radio party. I was trying to impress y'all. I hope it worked.
It
Yeah,
did.
And
We
then
let you in, didn't we?
You let me in.
fan pass, man.
And then this is my favorite shirt, and here's why. I'll tell you why.
That's cool. Yeah.
Number one, it's awesome. Okay. And it's older than me. It's a fact, but not too old where I don't feel bad, wearing it. Designed by Prairie Prince, by the way. But here's what's cool about this is that there's a guy on one of those Toddities page. I don't want to misquote who he was, but he was selling this shirt, and I saw his eBay account. And I had been taught. Zach and I were recording an episode of the Toddcast, and I was sitting there in between takes, and I go, "Man, you know what's a cool shirt? That Utopia '92 shirt that Prairie Prince did. Super cool. Want it so bad." And we're both big dudes. I mean, I'm 6'5". Zach's like 6'2", 6'3", probably. So we need XL. And there's not a lot of XL on eBay. So this is an XL. And I send it to him as it's like 5 hours out of the bid, right? And it's cheap, y'all. I ain't going to tell you how much I got it for. I got it for a good price. But I send it to Zach, and he goes, "Oh, yeah, I'm bidding on that too." And I just send him a text. I go, "Stand down, bud. Stand down. I still got my stimulus money. Stand down." And I got it. And what I did was I just kind of distracted him by the time it was coming up because I knew he was at work and I was at school. And I won. I obviously got it. I hope he doesn't watch that.
He'll find one day.
I thought about calling him at his job and pretending to be like a stupid person while I'm like sitting over there bidding, but I didn't want to be that evil.
Yeah, don't rub it in, man. He'll find him one day.
He'll find it. Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, "You'll get it, man. It's okay." So yeah, I think that's it. I really appreciate everybody. I really appreciate. Let me see y'all before I just. Really appreciate really having me. Honestly, I don't want to forget to show off my Todd's Honest Truth hat. Yeah. When I got to talk to Todd for 28 seconds.
Yeah.
So, very cool.
What'd you say to him?
I said happy birthday to him, and I showed him my CD-ROM classics of No World Order. I said many people, just like I did to y'all, many people will hold up a Wizard of True Star to you. This is my Wizard of True Star. And I just wanted to say thank you. And that's really all I could have asked for.
The funny thing about that is Todd probably lost some people because of that CD when it came out.
Pure irony.
And then some people, I've seen people that are hardcore fans now that didn't appreciate it then, but love it now.
Yeah, and
it just took some used to. People had to get used to it, I guess.
And even my dad, we had mentioned at the beginning that was his introduction back into Todd, and that's that's my dad's favorite. That and Liars are my dad's favorite Todd albums.
Those, yeah, two good ones for sure.
And I remember he was working at it was probably 1980, so he was probably working at a record store. He bought Healing, and he was sitting around probably getting stoned with buddies. And they sit down, they listen to the album, they go, "This sucks. This is terrible." And I'm like, but that's so weird because that's my favorite album. And now my dad likes that album, But at the time, and even looking through these fine articles that Carolyn sent me, there was one, and I took a picture of it because it meant so much to me. It was a guy going, "I love TR." This is like March 1980. "I love TR, but this is a stinker." And I thought about that. I'm like, yeah, they probably said the same damn thing.
That happened to Wizard, and a lot of these CDs, even the new ones, it takes people, if you listen to it, all of a sudden they love it, grows on them. And some people it takes a couple decades. It seems like, especially that one. But we used to use Love Thing as our intro for our blog talk shows. I love that CD, but that's everybody's got their own thing. That's the thing. That's why it's nice. He has so many different things. You can find something you like.
Yeah, when Zach and I, when we first met each other, this is a true story. You can find this in our Toddcast. But he is a long story. I was interviewing for the Rock Hall, and
the what?
Whatever. The Rock Hall. And they ask you at the interview, because this is dumb. It's a dumb position, but they ask you what your favorite artist of all time, and then obviously, of course, Todd Rundgren. And I sit down with him, and he goes, "So you say you're a fan of Todd Rundgren?" I go, "World's biggest fan, man. World's biggest fan." And I was very naive. This is before I knew all of y'all, obviously. And it was before I had met Zach, which is really important because I'm 27, he's 27. This is something we can bro out as much as we can about video games and Alkaline Trio as we can about Todd Rundgren. So it's really important. But he goes, well, if you're such a big fan of Todd Rundgren, do you have a picture of him and you together in your wallet? And I go, no, but I do have this. And I unbuttoned my shirt. I was wearing my Todd Rundgren shirt. You know why? Because if that interview went south, I would have said, better put that Todd Rundgren in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Why isn't he in? So,
That's right.
And lo and behold, Zach actually did have a picture of him and Todd going like this, buddy.
If you didn't have to go to school, you would have had one.
That's something else. I even think about like, now that I met Mary Lou, I think that probably was Mary Lou who came and asked my mom.
Probably so.
Because that was that era, because she had taken up managing, I think, a little bit before that. So now it's weird. Now, one time I sat and had a beer with Prairie Prince, and I was like, I don't believe this is happening. You're Prairie Prince. I'm just over here. I'm just over here. This is weird.
Prairie's good people. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I appreciate y'all having me. And this has been really fun for me. I appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate you being on. It's good to have some youth in our community.
That's right.
And again, it's at Toddcast Cleveland, and you can find us on the internet, on Spotify, on YouTube. Those are our main outlets. So I appreciate it.
What's your website link going to be?
I'm sure it's going to be ToddcastCleveland that's the email. ToddcastCleveland.com. But we're dealing
have you already bought it? The domain name?
No, I got to build the website.
You better get on it.
I'm building.
You better buy the domain name though.
The most important thing to me is building it right now.
No. You got to buy the domain now.
Somebody's going. You're right, because
if somebody else gets it, or you could get Toddcast Cleveland Podcast.com or TCP something. Todd CP. Just get it, because once people find out that you want it, they get it and try to sell it to you. Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Thanks,
Let me know when you're putting this episode out there.
GoDaddy.com. GoDaddy.com.
Is that still a thing?
It's cheap. Oh, yeah. You can buy them for like $10, $15, $20. It's not a big deal.
That's funny. All righty, y'all.
Yeah. All right. Good seeing you.
Good seeing you. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Do I leave?
Everybody, this is Tom Jennings. Miss all you guys. And I don't really have a fan cave. I just grabbed a couple of items that might be interesting, but really what I was hoping to go through was my my vinyl collection. Now I got a whole big box right here that is nothing but Todd. You can't see it; it's just kind of below. You sort of see the top of it. And I probably have in the range of 700 to 1,000 records or whatever. Maybe it's a slight exaggeration, but not too much. But I got a good hunk of Todd and Todd-related ones. So my wife actually bought me a special crate just for my Todd stuff. So I figured I'd go over what I got. And I'm pretty sure I got everything. So if there's somebody out there that they can tell me if I do or don't, let me know. What do we get started with? Nas 1, right? Who don't love this album? This is where it all started. It's got the original version of Hello, It's Me on it. That is not an original press. That is one of the later Rhino reissues. The original presses are pretty expensive these days. Here we go. Nas, say it twice. Here's what I love about this baby. Pull this one out. This is a fairly recent one that they put out for like a record store day, and if you look at closely, it's a purple vinyl edition. So if you like purple, this one's pretty. I'm a huge fan of colored vinyl. I don't know why. I just kind of like it. I don't think that it necessarily sounds any better, but it's just, if I have an opportunity to get something on colored vinyl, I will typically get it. There's been a whole bunch of Todd stuff reissued on colored vinyl, and when I can afford it, I buy it. So we got Nas 3, obviously, and then of course the best of Nas. I love this one. This is a Rhino one. If you don't have that one on vinyl, well worth getting it. I have to be careful because I don't want to leave this stuff out of order. What do you know? No more Nas. So this is the fungal bat acetates. There's a lot of debate in the Rundgren community as to the validity of whether these were the real acetates or whatever. Whatever the case, it's really good. This is basically Nas 2, well, Nas and Nas 3 sessions with Todd on vocals. It has the ones that Stookie later replaced. This is when we start getting into some doubles. So you can see I got 2 runts. I don't have the famous runt with extra tracks, or actually just recently I saw an Ampex pressing and I didn't grab that either. This is one of those music on vinyl ones, and as I mentioned before, love me some colored vinyl. I'll pull out some of these as we go through, but this is the runt on beautiful, shiny gold vinyl. Now, these music on vinyl albums that they just came out, they are a tad on the pricey side, but which is why I don't have every single one of them. But the ones that I have, they're really nice. So that's that one. I don't want to sit here and stick everything in the bags. Doug said I got about 10 minutes. We're about the 3:30 mark. Same thing. Got a couple of copies of Runt the Ballad of Todd Rundgren. It's like, why do you need 2 copies, honey? This is what my wife says to me when it comes to my record albums. Why do I need 2 copies? Because one of them is just an old, plain old Bearsville Black label. And then here is the Runt the Ballad. Let me see what this is. I'm guessing. I played it before, so I know what color it is. It's a beautiful blue. Blue, as my granddaughter says. I love the way she says blue. She says, blue. She's very nice. All right, so that was a notification from Amazon. We're going to ignore that. Maybe edit it out. I don't know. Probably just leave it in there. Then what do we got coming up? 2 copies of Something Anything. One of these is the famous red-blue version. I'm not going to pull that out for you because I think most people have seen that. How many copies of this baby do I have? A Wizard of True Star. 1, 2, count them, 3. Why? What's the big deal? This has got the one with, you can see the die-cut corners. This is just a later kind of clean Bearsville one that I bought to listen to. And this is the newer one with the colored vinyl. And we'll take a look at this one because this one's pretty. It's like a splatter vinyl, if you haven't seen it. 3 copies of one album. See, now this is, if I occasionally get a bootleg, I don't feel bad because I've supported Todd. You can see it's a nice green. It's like a green marble. Very pretty. And I've got a 4th copy framed and signed in my room. And I had a 5th copy, but gave that to my brother-in-law as a gift. So we're going to keep going here. 2 copies of Todd. Why? I don't know. One's colored vinyl, one's not. We're going to do a single copy now. I've got, of course, Initiation. Then we got Faithful. Faithful's got a nice new colored version out that I didn't have. Then we get to Herman, I Make Hollow. Look at that. We got 3 of these. Now this one is the one that's kind of the rare one, I guess. This is not a newer pressing, but it's like a Canadian one. You can see it's a nice red vinyl for the Hermit. So that's the reason I got that one. And yeah, that's why I got 3 copies. I don't know why I got 3 copies. 2 of them are actually in pretty good shape. Now I feel terrible because I had a friend of mine recently message me and go like, hey man, if you got any extra Todd Rundgren albums, I lost my collection a long time ago and trying to rebuild it, and this isn't going back in right now. And I was thinking to myself, you know what? I probably do have a few extra Todd albums, but I can't part with them. Now I've actually there's only 1 copy of Healing that's in this crate. I've got 3 more copies in another crate. I know that. I don't know why that is. Most of them do not have the 45 in it, but those of you remember from back in the day, there was a 45 in Healing. 2 copies of Back to the Bars. Why, you might ask? One of the copies was just worn down, and the other one is just a cleaner copy. Now, Back to the Bars was my first Todd Rundgren album. True story, folks. That's the album that made me fall in love with Todd Rundgren. In fact, it was like back in those days. I remember I was forlorn over a young lady, and the song "The Meaning of the Verb to Love" spoke to my heartbreak. So that's how I became a Todd Rundgren fan. What's your Todd Rundgren story? Runt Acapella. This is what you call a bootleg. I might have a couple more in here too. My funny bootleg story is that one day I was wearing a bootleg shirt backstage at a Todd Rundgren show, and Todd looked at me and he says, "Nice shirt." I didn't know what to say to that. It was a bootleg, obviously, so I shouldn't have been wearing it. 3 copies of this bad boy, acapella, and the other one I showed you before was the bootleg version acapella, which came out before the album did. I don't know if anybody's familiar with this one. Something to Fall Back on Dance Mix. Something to fall. I just want to dance when I just look at it. Oh, here's a beaut. Look at that one. There's no Little Hitlers on this one. Of course, the CD version has the song Two Little Hitlers, which is a Elvis Costello cover. Now we sort of come into the Todd Rundgren solo void. Now, I never did get a copy of Second Wind on vinyl, which is, I've seen them, but they're ridiculously priced. This is Day Job, so it's from New World Order, but it's not the full No World Order, not New World Order. I don't want to start any conspiracy theorists here. State. This album, by the way, sounds incredible on vinyl. I've actually heard Todd say at some point, I don't think vinyl sounds much different than other forms, but I disagree. That State album sounds a lot better, as does Global. We got that one on vinyl. White Knight. Why do I have 2 copies, you say, Tom? Why 2 copies of White Knight? Well, the good news is one of them is signed, as you can see, and they both are, if you haven't seen these are the colored vinyl. So that one's pretty cool. It's like a splatter. The other one's just plain old white. This, again, the disadvantage, I suppose, of getting the later albums on vinyl is they don't have all the tracks on them, but man, they sound amazing. So then we got an evening with Todd Rundgren live at the Ridgefield, which if you look in the background here, there's an evening with Tom Jennings. My son actually modeled a picture of me playing guitar after the cover of this particular Todd Rundgren album. I thought was not only cool, but a beautiful gesture. A couple of Todd Rundgren's Utopias. I'll try to blow through some of this now. One Another Live. I'm missing the UK one, which I'd love to see. Two Roz. They have all the inserts in them. If you haven't seen them, you deserve to see them. What the heck? 3 Oops Wrong Planets. It's a theme here. Only one to face the music, and I think I purchased this begrudgingly. Don't hate me, I'm not a fan. Swing to the Right. Trying to face the fact that I ain't that young no more. Hair is gone again and the suit is in. My first Utopia album, aptly titled Utopia. Now here's one. I don't know how this got stuck in out of order. This was a Record Store Day release of some additional POV stuff, some demos and everything. That's this beautiful blue spatter vinyl. If you haven't seen that. Hey, listen, if you're still with me and you're not bored out of your skull yet, thank you. I'm not bored out of my skull yet either. This has actually been pretty fun going through these. I don't necessarily go through these a lot. I will have to put this one back in order. Not really. I just stuck it at the end. Adventures in Utopia. Of course, 2 of those at least. Oblivion. Now, we got a couple of different Oblivions here. You'll notice this is Oblivion, the famous black cover. And then this is the one where you can actually see the word Oblivion on it. Black cover, Oblivion. So that's why I have 2 of those. I absolutely love Oblivion as an album. How many POVs, you say? Uno, dos, tres, 3. There's absolutely nothing distinct about any of them. It's just an album that I love so much that when I see it, I tend to buy it. Trivia! This was actually the first Utopia album on CD, but it also came out on vinyl. This one, you see I got Gil Asias's CD in here and some Chasm Sultan stuff too. Gil signed this to me. Says, thank you, Tom. You're the best. And Chasm signed it as well. And so when I gave this to Gil, at first he goes, well, I'm not on that album. I'm like, dude, you're right there. That's you, Gil. He didn't even know. I'm like, don't they give you copies of these things when they come out? He's like, no, I didn't even know about that one. Green. Absolutely gorgeous. Don't even remember where I acquired that one. And we're almost to the end, I promise. Some newer stuff. Utopia at the old Waldorf. I think this is some colored vinyl as well. Orange, glad I pulled that out. Ugh. Shut me up. Shut me up. Too much talking. What else we got? That pretty much brings me to the end. I got, this one. It's another bootleg, Nimbus Thitherward. Don't understand who this woman is or why she wound up on the album or even where this is. I think that, I don't know, is that Chicago? Is it New York? Maybe somebody can answer that. And the Undercover soundtrack. This is a movie about a high school kid who's going bald. Yeah, it's weird. The guy's like in high school, but yet he clearly has a ridiculously receding hairline. I can relate. I had one as well when I was in high school. I really did. Final one in here. I stuck it in here by mistake. I usually have his stuff separate. Chasm Sultan, the solo album. The album that almost broke up Utopia. It says, Tom, great to see you. Chasm. He always remembers me. I don't know why. Todd never does. Chasm always does. He did forget the H in Tom, though. We didn't talk for a few years after that. That's a lie. I always talk to Chasm. A couple of quick items. I don't remember. If anybody out there remembers giving this to me, it is a rock from when we were doing the healing shows. It says Akron 2010. I love this little rock. My friend Susie gave me this, which is a bumper sticker I just remember from back in the day. Don't put bumper stickers on cars anymore, but it's a really sweet looking bumper sticker. And we got a couple. Now, the workmanship on this is not great. In fact, most of the frets and everything have fallen off. Randy Brown, actually, when I took this to the show, he put it on the little cradle and polished it next to the actual foamy. So this has spent a little time in the presence of real foamy. And Todd signed this on the back from the stage, which someone told me Todd never does. And not to be outdone, I did manage to get a nice little miniature version of the Fool. This is not the real Fool. The real Fool is much bigger. Todd signed that one on the back as well. And just to kind of close things out, don't want to bang on my ukulele all day. That probably sounded off with a microphone. Look at that. That is the entire Arena band. You don't see this very often. I got Prairie Prince, Todd, Matt, Matt looks like Mark Boland. It's really Matt. I forget Matt's last name. Jesse Gress, Rachel Hayden, all good stuff. All right, but that's what I got, and I went way too long. He said 10 minutes. It was about 16 minutes. If you stuck with me the whole time, thank you. I love you. I got some albums to put away now, and become my friend on Facebook, and you'll get to see me standing here doing my Turntable Tuesday with Tom. I'll see you soon. Can't wait till we get together. City in my head. Love is the answer. Just want victory. I could go all day. I can go all night, folks.